Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Amy Post. Welcome to my podcast. Thank you again for joining me. Once again, I just always appreciate your time and just taking, just that moment in your day to listen. I really do appreciate it. So becoming a little more comfortable with this, and it's just been a really healing process. So I think with what I'm looking at doing, I really want to be raw and real and very open, and hopefully I have been with the podcast before. So, sometimes, the subjects aren't easy to talk about, and I'll be the first to tell you this was not something that I thought I would ever be doing, and it wasn't something that I wanted to do, and I've just been really pushed to do this. I've been challenged to do it in a very positive way. So I'm just very thankful to be able to tell my story, hopefully help others tell their story, and really just create this movement where people are raw, real, open, telling their stories and feeling okay to do that. I think that there is just such a stigma, and I went through it 9 years ago, and for so many years about it not being okay to tell my story, it not being okay to talk about it, not being okay to challenge and ask questions. So for that, I just kind of want to tee that up of what I really think that these podcasts will be, is just a really raw, open conversation and being real with each other. So with that being said, I want to tell a little bit more of the story and kind of get into just a different topic. And, I think I mentioned it slightly in the beginning, kind of telling my story, but I want to talk about purpose and gifts. I don't know what your take on that is, or what you've heard or what you've experienced, but, we hear those things. What is your purpose? What is, purpose life? Your gift, what is that? And I think it means something different for everybody. And I know that it certainly did for me. It started many, many years ago when I was, a young kid going to church and bouncing around from church to church, and, parents not really being able to find a church that they recognized with or perhaps felt comfortable with. I really wasn't in tune and didn't really know the exact reason of that. But even when I was a kid, kind of hearing these words, and of course you're intrigued with it, and you really want to know more. Gosh, what is my gift? What is my purpose? Why am I here? And then I think, we maybe get caught up in things. So this particular subject really started becoming very important to me when my husband and I were married. We just got married, and we were attending, really just fantastic church here in St. Louis, and being involved in their different organizations and hearing, what is your gift? What is your purpose? And we would go around the room, and I would almost melt into the floor with them asking, what is your gift? You don't have to say it. If you want to write it on this piece of paper, you can write it on this piece of paper and give it to us. And I thought, I can't even tell you what my gift or purpose is, let alone write it on a piece of paper where it's supposed to be, something secretive or that people won't talk about. It was very, very daunting to me, and I didn't understand it. I don't know if you're feeling that way or have ever felt that way that I did, but I didn't know what to think. And I think it just became much more confusing for me in figuring out, what is this? I kept thinking it was something that was materialistic, this tangible thing that I needed to find. And I was always great at sales. I owned businesses from the age of 15. I owned another business right out of high school and all through college. And then, I started more businesses, just small businesses in college. And so I think that, my thought process went down the road of, I'm great at sales. I'm great at talking to people, listening, asking questions, really just, being interested in what that person is doing, what they're wanting to do, their goals. And sales really took me into an area where I could help people build their business, really build, a cool brand for themselves and differentiate themselves, set themselves apart, whether that be for marketing, social media, what were they good at? Really just drilling down and figuring out, how to help these businesses. Small businesses were something that I was very, I don't know, I think just driven from day one to really help, because I owned small businesses when I was younger. And I think that has always resonated with me to really help small business owners. So I really felt that was something, that was what I was meant to do. That was my gift. That was my purpose. I was supposed to be in sales. I was supposed to help people build their businesses. And that was good for me. And I think as kind of life went on, it got more confusing about what really is this? What is my purpose? And there would be something that would just drive and nag me to try to figure out what this looked like. And I don't think that there was a day that went by that I didn't think about it more and more as, after my husband and I got married and we started having kids, we had Zachary. And even though I loved what I did, it just really set this tone of there has to be more. The story isn't over. It's not an open and closed situation where, I found my gift, I found my purpose, I'm great with helping people build their business. There was something else that was just driving me. And I remember one day I just broke down and I called our pastor and I was like, Darren, I don't know, but you have to help me figure this out. I'm so confused. I'm so lost. I don't understand, what this is. This is not just a situation where, one day I thought about it. It's nagging at me every single day. And he asked me to put together a letter and send it to him and just really put my heart on the page and tell every feeling that I was kind of going through. And I remember doing that. It made me feel much, much better, but it didn't make things go away. It didn't make those feelings go away. So I think it had just always been one of those nagging things that I couldn't escape from. I couldn't run from. I don't know if you have ever felt like this or if you are feeling like that right now and you just aren't sure what that looks like, or, you just want to speed up the process. I think that was one of the biggest things that I wanted. I just had this nagging question that I kept thinking, let's just speed this process up and get to it after. Just get to it, all right? And it's not something that you can speed up. Looking back so many years back through my life, it's probably been 16 plus years, you can't speed it up. You can't make that process go faster. It's something that has to really kind of take its own time and build and proceed and really kind of show you what you need at that moment that you need it. I can honestly say that, I found my purpose and my gift with being in the hospital with my daughter. It was something that I now look back and I see so clearly, but I didn't see it in those moments. I could have probably never seen much of anything through a lot of the darkness and the torture and torment and just the challenges that we went through. It wasn't apparent to me at that time. And so looking back now, it is very, very apparent that, going through what we did, I was able to see, being able to advocate for myself and for her. We were there for a purpose, even though it sounds so unusual to be in such a difficult place with your child, diagnosed with malignant liver cancer and then diagnosed with a very rare genetic cancer gene. It's hard to say that could be a situation of beauty and that you could find something positive and you could find purpose in it, but it absolutely was for me. And I don't know if that's how it is for you, but I just challenge you to dig really deep today and, tomorrow and next week and next month. And maybe it's not something that comes to you immediate, because it certainly didn't come to me immediately. I can tell you that just by digging and every day kind of searching back through my life and what that looked like and looking at things with a different perspective and giving myself grace. So no matter that I couldn't change the situation, I could certainly look back and look at it at a different perspective and through different lenses. So for me, everything just kind of came about. Everything just came together. And I'm not saying that it will. And if you're struggling and it's just not coming together, I'm not saying that it won't. And I'm not saying that it'll come together tomorrow. Dig deep inside yourself and have that patience. Give yourself that grace to be able to find what you're looking for. I think everything is handed to us at the perfect timing that it's supposed to be handed to us, and that we can only take so much and digest it, process it, and then really turn it into whatever it's supposed to be. I don't know if that sounds cheesy, but it truly has been something that has been mind-blowing for me. And I talk to my husband now about looking back through our journey, and it's very, very difficult for him to do, and I understand that. He and I had different paths. He was at home taking care of our son during those years, and I was in the hospital with Madison. And I think that ability of being there allowed me to really find that purpose. And I think that, my husband and I are continuing to have these conversations of what does that look like? What did it look like for you? And really, kind of having that ping pong, communication back and forth of what it meant to each of us and what each of us went through, because it certainly wasn't the same thing. And I spent many years expecting it to be the same thing. It wasn't. So for me to even expect him or anybody else to kind of know what I found is untruthful. It's setting myself up for failure. So looking back, finding, that purpose in advocating for myself, advocating for my daughter, challenging, pushing back, each of those corners, I think that it was something that was so necessary for me to get where I am now, because there's such beauty and light where I am now where there wasn't before. But once I figured it out, there has been such calmness. And it wasn't an immediate calmness. This is, a situation that has really come about in steps and stages. And it was, calmness, clarity, excitement, direction, really seeing things in a different perspective. But the process wasn't without walking through the valley of death. And I'm not saying that that is the path or the journey that you have been on or are on, but maybe you have been. And if you have, or you're going through that struggle, I can just honestly tell you to dig deep inside yourself and find that courage to just continue to press on and move forward and dig very deep, because I will say it over and over and over again. There is such power and purpose in pain that we're going through. And it doesn't sound real or right that we should go through those things, but we have an advantage over those who haven't gone through painful things in their life. We have an ability to see things through different lenses and different light. And my husband and I have been there for several years, and I pray that we can continue to get on the same page. But what I've had to offer him is grace, and let him know that God has given us both grace to be able to get through this and find kind of that purpose and that gift. Whether or not he knows what his is, I think we're still kind of working through that. And so if you're in that place where you're not really sure, or maybe your spouse and you are not on the same page, I just really want to encourage you to keep pushing, keep moving forward, keep having those conversations, keep communicating, just continue to keep the hope. And I think for me, it was continuing to keep that calmness and ability to understand the other person, because that wasn't something easy for me with my marriage. It was easier for me with my colleagues and the accounts and businesses that I called on than it was for my own family. And I admit that gracefully. I truly do. I wasn't able to give grace in the beginning. And looking back so many years later through those different goggles and lenses, I'm able to give him grace and give myself that benefit of the doubt and know that we were in such different places, but we were able to overcome the 10% of couples that did not get divorced. And our child is still here and we're advocating for her, and I will never stop advocating. So I think just giving yourself the ability to kind of see and capture those moments that you can. And I will be as raw and real throughout all of my podcasts and everything that I do moving forward, because I've seen that's one of the biggest benefits to giving myself this peace, this light at the end of the tunnel, this opportunity to see light through such darkness. And so I just encourage you to take a step back, take a deep breath today, if that's where you are at this moment, and just give that person the ability to have some grace and look at it through different lenses. I made some more notes, and it's something that I really always have to do. I'm better if I can kind of write some things down that I feel. You know, these podcasts have not been comfortable. They've been really uncomfortable for me, even though, you know, I've spent 15 plus years in high pressure, very cutthroat sales. It's not easy for me to sit here and do this. And maybe it's just because I'm being so raw and real and it's so about me that I just need some more encouragement today, I think. So, you know, what does that walk look like for you to get to this discovery of what your gift and your purpose, or just something that you feel so empowered about? Like I said, my story started a really long time ago, and the confusion of just not understanding and looking in the wrong places. But I guarantee you, if you just continue to look, you will find some things that I think they were there. You just maybe didn't see them. I didn't see mine. And it took being in the hospital with my daughter and standing up for her for so many years for me to see that I was given this ability for this powerful, courageous, encouraging individual outside of who I thought I was in this sales world, to be able to find this person that I can actually get out of bed in the morning and be so encouraged by and so happy to finally find. And I think that this new journey that I'm on, I'm so excited to be on it. I'm excited that you're coming along with me, and just give me grace, if you will. You know, nothing will be perfect, and being raw and real certainly isn't perfect. You know, life is messy, and we need to, I think, just give everybody the benefit of the doubt at times. And so I hope that you can do that for me. So what else? I think that I still felt lost through a lot of the past several years, and even the past year, of kind of coming to this conclusion of being able to find this purpose and this gift and this unwavering ability to just stand up. But I was still lost. I had such a sense of pulling against me, and I didn't know what I felt. I was confused. I was uncertain. There's been a lot of fear. If you're feeling that way, I can honestly tell you that you're not alone. It's certainly, again, not something that you're going to feel instantly. You know, these were real struggles for me, and I know that they're real struggles for you. And I just really encourage you to, you know, take this moment. If you're stuck in a rut and you don't know, you know, how to get out, there is a way. I worried about everything going through the past several years, the past 9 years. You know, I worried about today. I worried about tomorrow. I worried about, you know, yesterday. And I'm here to tell you that you will find peace if you will just let go of tomorrow. That was a huge stepping stone for me, of just being able to find peace, living in today, letting go of tomorrow, letting go of those fears, letting go of those expectations, I was driven for so many years with these powerful words of gift and purpose that I felt that if I didn't recognize them and I didn't know them, that there was something wrong with me. I had to figure them out immediately so I could go back to my church group. I could go back to those people in my group and tell them I have found out what my purpose and my gift is. I remember being so fearful of walking back in those groups because I didn't know what my purpose or my goal was, and I couldn't even write it on a piece of paper barely. I think I wrote things such as, I'm great at sales, I'm great at talking to people, but it was enough. And I didn't even give myself credit or celebrate that I was able to even put anything on that piece of paper, or I was even able to communicate anything at all. I wasn't able to give myself grace and know that there was importance of even recognizing anything in my life, but I was still stuck in the fear of worrying about, tomorrow, and what if I didn't figure this out? There was a time crunch to figure this out. And you will find peace with that, worrying less about tomorrow. But I also will tell you that, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through the challenges and the struggles and the valley of death with my daughter, and being able to dig so deep within myself and challenge myself in ways that I didn't think were even possible. So if there's something that's tough and absolutely something that you feel you can't get up off the floor and you can't put one foot in front of the next because it's just too scary, you're too fearful, it's the unknown, I'm here to tell you that you can. You're not alone. You can absolutely 100% do it. I'm not saying that what my daughter and I went through isn't what other people go through. We all have our challenges. And I'm just telling you from the standpoint of the story of what my daughter and I went through, and wanting to give you the most encouragement that I possibly can. And so if you are feeling as though no one understands, it's something that it's just unrecognizable to anyone, I want to encourage you and let you know that it isn't unrecognizable. I think I've mentioned that my faith was always very wavered through this. And if yours is as well, and if you don't have faith at all, it's okay, because it's not a requirement. There aren't requirements, there aren't steps that you have to go through and complete. It's just not like that. So I know that things can be messy and uncertain and very foggy and very gray, because that's certainly how they were for me. But I really encourage you to dig deep inside yourself. But if there is a hard challenge that you're going through, there's a purpose, and you getting to the other side will feel so much better once you're there. I know 9 years later, looking back, that I feel so much better now, finally getting where I am. I can't even tell you. I look forward to getting out of bed every day, finally, after so many years of not even wanting to face the day, face what was going to happen, conversations, struggles. I didn't want to do it. Like I have said, I wasn't this person that God thought I was. But it all brought me to the place that I am right now. It brought me through the lowest valleys. I wouldn't wish what my daughter and I went through on anyone. And whatever you're going through, I wouldn't wish it on somebody else too. But I'm honestly telling you that you will be stronger getting through it. So I hope that sharing my story of kind of getting to where I'm really at the understanding of my gift and my purpose, I hope it gives you encouragement to kind of get there and find it. And you're going to go through those valleys where you aren't sure that you can get up off the floor. Totally okay. I was there so many times, almost huddled in the corner of that hospital room, not feeling that I could even stand up. And it was so daunting. It was so daunting at moments where I didn't think I could get up either, and I did. And I moved forward in such away. I allowed that fear sometimes, I think, to really move me forward, even though I think I thought that it was holding me back. But I don't regret one moment of what I went through. I don't regret a moment of advocating for my daughter and trying to just be her rock of strength, and she was mine. And I think that if you find something like that to be able to put yourself in, life can become blurry. Mine became very, very blurry over 9 years, and not even knowing what I was supposed to feel or what I was supposed to be searching for. But I hope I'm helping my daughter also find her purpose and her gift, because that would be the coolest thing that I could ever imagine. It's like one day she comes to me and she's like, Mom, you've helped me find my purpose, my gift, from what you went through. And my daughter wasn't okay with me starting the podcast. And she certainly wasn't okay when I wanted to write my book. It was really difficult to move forward, but there was a strength inside of me that every single day just moved me forward to having this real and raw conversation with her about where God had us and where He had me, and that I would never jeopardize her, and I had my arms around her, and God did as well. Our faith had to be strong, but I'll tell you, even though we had gone through so much, I still had more hurdles once I started this next journey, because it had to do with her. But we kind of roll that movie forward again, another year from having those conversations with her. And it's such a cool feeling to see how encouraged and how excited she is about what we're doing. And I would be just so thrilled if I helped her find kind of her purpose and her gift, because I think I'm aware of what it is. She's going to be a powerhouse in this world, and she is going to take this world by storm and encourage people and uplift them even more than I could ever do. I see something inside of her that is just amazing and powerful, and it's going to bring me to tears, but it's true. So I'm excited for you guys to take this journey and meet her, but I'm also excited for you to find your gift and purpose and share what that might be, even if you don't feel that it's something that is important. Yeah, I've watched my daughter and I come so far, and I'm so grateful that I get to share this and be able to speak to you. I think I had told you that I love writing things down, and I was kind of skimming through this book this morning, and I wrote this in 2018, and I just wanted to share it with you. It was very powerful. I actually pulled it to this page without this sticky note in it, and once I read this, I put this sticky note in it so I wouldn't forget to talk about it today. What I wrote in 2018 was, I wish for direction. I wish for less worry. And this might just be from what I've been going through with Madison, but my worry isn't worth anything less than my husband's worry, my worry, but I wish that I could worry less. I wish for less stress with my job, my kids, between my husband and I, and all the tasks and things that are on our plate. It's just daunting. Maybe I wish for a better way to handle my stress. Maybe I wish that I could see things between Eric and I differently. Maybe I should be what Eric and I search for. I wish for happiness every day, a way not to worry about Madison. I wish that I could be stronger. I wish for better communication between my husband and I. I wish that I could stay more calm. I really envy people that are calm. That really moved me today, and I just kind of want to leave you with that. I hope that encourages you, but it was just such a cool situation that the book just kind of fell open at those pages at the moment that I was talking about this today, and I think that it has so much to do with every topic, but that was pretty cool. So again, I just encourage you, dig deep inside yourself. If it's something that you can't really put your finger on yet, I guarantee you it will in the time that you need to find it. And that is what happened to me, and it took many, many years, 15 plus years, and then the real bulk of it going through the last 9 years. But once you get to that other side, I guarantee you it will be just impressively beautiful and something that you can't even imagine, but you're so glad that you waited for it. All right, well, until next time, have a great day, and thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me. Thanks. Bye.